Hey guys, my name is Jackson, and uh, hey guys, my name is Jackson. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special video. uh, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's story explained. I'm going to be explaining the entire story from start to finish, except there might not, Ultimate Custom Night might not be in here, and like my entire thing I'm reading, how I obviously wrote, duh. And I'm typing in the title now. fnaf story. fnaf story explain. Okay, let's start. Welcome, Freddy fans, and a special welcome to parents who are trying to figure out what the heck their kids are raving about. This guide to the lore behind Five Nights at Freddy's games aims to make the overarching story as digestible as possible. The lore behind Five Nights at Freddy's is dense and intimidating stuff at first glance, but when you focus, it isn't too hard to follow. With a little effort and intensity, you'll uncover a twisted tale not only involves murder and deceit, but also a broken family that tries to project itself as normal with desperately, I'm sorry, I typed this word and I don't know how to say it, depressingly limited success. Hardcore fans will certainly notice, you hardcore fans out there watching this will certainly notice I omit certain plot threads and side facts, like Michael Afton's possession by Innard. That's by design. I try to keep things simple here. Obviously, I'm trying to be simple. Duh. You won't find irrelevant information about the characters, nor will you find much in the way of fan speculation and theories. While I touch on some of the points Matt Pat makes in his extremely popular Five Nights at Freddy's videos, specifically his Final Theory videos part 1 and 2, most of what's here is based on fact, or at least widely accepted fan theories. Cawthon has a very dry sense of humor, and he enjoys stringing his fan base along. You can create a kind of grandfatherly hippo animatronic who advises players they shouldn't look too deeply in the stories. Watch out for the jump scare at the very start of the video. I try to focus on hard facts for the summary of the series story. The hard facts don't mean a whole lot in Five Nights at Freddy's universe. Take everything here with just a pinch of Fazbear brand garlic salt. Eat your pizza, don't get too close to the stage, and enjoy. Let's start at the start. What is Five Nights at Freddy's? Five Nights at Freddy's, or FNAF, is a series of point-and-click horror games for PC and mobile made by independent game developer Scott Cawthon. The game's setting varies from game to game, but the premise between them remains the same. You look through the eyes of the game's protagonist must stay alive for 5 or 6 days against an onslaught of animatronics who want your blood. At the time of this writing, there are 5 mainline FNAF games. Five Nights at Freddy's 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 2015, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 2015, and Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location 2016, and Freddy Fazbear Pizza Simulator Plus Ultimate Custom Night 2017 and 2018. There are also a few supplementary works: Silver Eyes, a young adult novel based on the series; The Twisted Ones, a follow-up to The Silver Eyes; The Fourth Closet, conclusion to both Silver Eyes and the Twisted Ones. And the Freddy Files, a strategy guide that also offers some additional lore. Five Nights at Freddy's Survival Logbook, a game and activity book. FNAF World, a cutesy RPG that half parodies the series it's based on. As you can see, Afton produced the first 4 FNAF games very quickly, but he's since slowed down his output in favor of applying polish and new ideas to the series. Justification, for example, frequently changes up the nature of the hazardous situation you need to survive. By contrast, previous games just make the existing animatronics act more aggressively, night after night. It's getting good. What parts of Five Nights at Freddy's are canon, and what aren't? Well, FNAF 1 through Pizzeria Simulator are all canon, and their stories tie into each other. FNAF World isn't canon. On the Steam community for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, Cawthon explained that Silver Eyes and Twisted Ones are sort of canon, but it's not meant to fit snugly with the games. Rather, the books are an alternate retelling of the game's events. FNAF World, isn't it part of FNAF's story canon? Can you tell? For the purposes of letting everyone hang on onto their sanity, this guide focuses on the story points revealed through the mainline FNAF games. Here's protagonist of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Well, thank you for asking, me. Even though FNAF's main protagonist is mostly mutant, featureless, with very few exceptions, you never see anything except what's directly in front of you, including physical characteristics or markings. Per character has an identity. You are Michael Afton, a physically and emotionally tormented young man trying to undo the grievous sins committed by his father in the pizza parlors he's owned. Excuse me. Sorry about that, someone called me, so I muted my mic so I could hear them. Where was I? Oh, pizza parlor was he owned. We'll cover Michael Afton and his father in more detail later on. First 2 games put Michael in the role of a security guard keeping an eye on things at night. The third game thrust him in Fazbear's Fright, a horror attraction based around a burnt-out Fazbear Pizzeria location. Wait, hang on. Jimmy Choo! What's wrong? Hang on. What do you mean? See an animatronic outside the window? I'm sorry about that. He started yapping in the other room, so I had to put him up. He's in my room. You hear him? There's something moving. That's my dog. Now where was I? I was at if I can find it. Okay, the first 2 games put Michael. Oh wait. Okay, let's just start from there. The first 2 games put Michael in the role of a security guard keeping an eye on things at night. The third game thrust him in Fazbear's Fright, a horror attraction based around a burned-out Fazbear Pizzeria location. The fourth game changes things up a bit Play as a frightened child, probably Michael's younger brother, trying to fend off nightmare versions of the popular FNAF animatronics from your bedroom. We'll also explore Michael's younger brother later on, too. Sister location, Michael tries to free his sister's remains and or soul from the shell of one of the animatronics. In Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, Michael works with one of his father's old business partners to bring peace to the restless souls of the children who were murdered in various Freddy Fazbear establishments across the country. I'll say it for you. Wow, that escalated quickly. Regardless of whom you're playing as in any of the games, your only real job is to survive. Depending on the game, your method of doing so varies. You may have to monitor cameras and lock your security doors when appropriate, or you may have to listen for audio cues and perform certain actions to ward off the animatronics when the time is right. In most games, your range of movement is limited, and you certainly don't have access to any weapons. Do all games take place at the same pizzeria? And the answer to your question is no. There's more than one Fazbear Entertainment branded pizzeria, including in particular sister location. Not all the games revolve around a restaurant or some other variation of a satanic Chuck E. Cheese style venue. FNAF 4 takes place in a kid's bedroom, and sister location takes place in an underground bunker populated by animatronics that are queued up for repairs and reprogramming. I've heard the animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's games are haunted by the ghosts of dead kids. Is that true? The answer to that question is yes. For the most part, though FNAF is a bloodless series, it's kinda grim, as stated above. There are several Fazbear branded pizzerias, and most have been struck by accidents and tragedies, including serial child murders. Using hidden newspaper clippings and delightfully retro minigames, cutscenes that are emulated Atari CES game sprites. FNAF and FNAF 2 hint that several children were killed at the restaurant and had their bodies hidden inside animatronics backstage. This caused the angry souls of those kids to possess the series' most recognizable animatronics: Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie Bunny, Foxy, and Chica the Chicken. There are also several lesser-known animatronics, including Golden Freddy, sometimes called Fredbear, and the Marionette, who are also possessed by dead children's souls. Interestingly, the minigames in FNAF 2 indicate the animatronics are driven to protect other children and find their killer. Consequently, animatronics are mistrustful of adults, i.e. the player. FNAF 4 and Sister Location focus less on the dead kids and instead offer us a profile about the man who committed the crimes. FNAF 4 and Sister Location focus less on dead kids and instead offer us a profile about the man who committed the crimes. Did I read that twice? I read that twice. I'm sorry, I'm just really tired. How did the kids die? It's another question that keeps popping up. Horribly, presumably, but there's a little bit of good news. Like FNAF 2 and FNAF 3 has supplemental Atari-style minigames that let you play through several connected scenarios. If you complete them successfully, you learn that the ghost kids who possessed Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, Chica, Gold Freddy, and the Marionette get revenge on the man who killed them, then move on to a better place. So that's a cheerful bit of closure for a series that tends to lack anything in the way of cheerfulness or closure. When you're the restless soul of a murdered kid, happiness days are in short supply. Who is Five Nights at Freddy's purple guy, and why have I heard so much about him? Now the fun begins. Now, this is where the fun begins, guys. There are actually two purple guys. The most important one is William Afton, a genius animatronics engineer who designed and built the series. Animatronics we know and kind of love. He's also the one behind the child killings mentioned in FNAF 1, 2, and 3. The second purple guy is Michael Afton, William's son. Michael is the main character in Sister Location. The first purple guy, William, got his nickname because his first appearance is in FNAF FNAF 2's minigames, where he appears as a purple Atari-style sprite. He wasn't given the name William Afton until much later. Purple William is surrounded by dead children when we first meet him in FNAF 2. Dead kids are also represented as simple Atari-style sprites, but they're still pretty unsettling to see. The second purple guy is William Afton's son, Michael Afton. Though Michael is the protagonist of Sister Location, more on that below. We didn't see him take on the form Purple Guy number 2, hereafter referred to as Purple Michael, until Scott Cawthon made a new Atari-style cinema scene for players who beat the custom night in Sister Location's very hard mode. Neither William nor Michael are literally purple human beings. Their purple hue is simply a stylistic choice Scott made creating the characters who, again, were introduced through retro minigames purposely designed to look like Atari titles. Scott's work is filled with tributes to very old games, a fact that usually sails over his young fans' heads for understandable reasons. Never mind Murderous Fox animatronic with the hook hand, watch out for the other guy. Purple William's weird grin is befitting of a child murderer. He also seems to understand the spirits of the kids are haunting the animatronics. In fact, he receives an ironic death in the last FNAF 3 minigame. He tries to hide from the kids inside an animatronic shaped like a yellow bunny, only to have it snap shut and impale him. A Springtrap, by the way. But Purple William didn't die. His zombified corpse, now tangled up in mechanics of the rabbit animatronic that skewered him, lives to haunt the player as an animatronic named Springtrap in the events of FNAF 3. Note that while the events of FNAF 3 take place 30 years after the events of FNAF 1 and 2, its minigames are set in the past and show you Springtrap's origin. So the first purple guy, William Afton, is the one who killed the kids. Did the second purple guy, Michael Afton, kill any? William is outright seen killing children in FNAF 2 minigames. His son Michael is innocent. Mostly. Michael did kill a child, but it was an accident. In fact, his role as the FNAF series' protagonist suggests he's trying to find a redemption for what he did. More on that below, by the way. This bunny hungers for flesh and blood. I'm talking about Springtrap. So the Afton family is responsible for all the bad things going down in the FNAF series. Pretty much. It's not surprising either, despite William Afton's genius and despite the fact they all live in an idyllic neighborhood and project an outward appearance of being normal. They're a dysfunctional bunch. FNAF 4 and Sister Location link together to give us an idea of what the Afton family is like. There's William Afton, patriarch and the owner of at least one Fazbear pizzeria. There's Michael, his older son. There's also a nameless, perpetually fearful little boy, who fans call the Crying Boy, and a little girl named Elizabeth. The opening cutscene for Sister Location indicates William Afton has a thing for designing and populating his restaurants with animatronics that kill children. In fact, one of his most popular animatronics, a female clown called Circus Baby, kills his daughter, Elizabeth. After luring her close to the ice cream cone, William had warned his daughter to stay away from the animatronic, seemingly to not avail. I bet I get blamed for this. William's youngest son, the Crying Boy, died in a similar fashion, despite being terrified of his father's animatronics, hence his perpetual crying. Michael put his little brother's head in Freddy's mouth. The mouth unexpectedly clammed down, and the boy died sometime later. Popular fan theories even suggest Crying Boy is terrified of animatronics because he witnessed Circus Baby murder his sister, but there's no confirmation one way or the other. What's William Afton's motivation for killing those kids? William's motives are hazy, but we can take a stab. A couple. A hidden cutscene in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator suggests young William built robots as a way to co-opt having an abusive alcoholic for a father. Though since the game never gives us the explicit identity of the orange guy in that cutscene, we can't say he's William's father for certain. More hidden lore in Pizzeria Simulator suggests William uses the souls of his young murder victims and experiments regarding immortality when the kids' souls are bound to an animatronic. It's capable of living forever. William's former business partner, Henry, was the unwitting accomplice in these experiments. He helps Michael bring William to a fiery end at the conclusion of Pizzeria Simulator, then allows himself and Michael to be immolated by the flames. Also consider William Afton might simply be a mad genius if he loves anyone. Its daughter, Elizabeth, hence why he was strict about not letting her approach Circus Baby. He knew what the animatronic was capable of, and he didn't want her to get hurt. Sweetie, don't let the crazy deaf contraption I built kill you, is a low bar to measure a caring father by, but it's the only indication that William Afton is any kind of human being. It's also worth noting Elizabeth, whose soul is trapped in the Circus Baby animatronic, and William, as Springtrap, still seem to care for each other in a twisted way, but William clearly cares nothing for his sons. Michael tortures his little brother in FNAF 4's minigames by destroying his toys and constantly scaring him while wearing a foxy mask. In time, Michael's pranks go too far and kill the crying boy. William doubtlessly knew his younger son was miserable before his death. All the other neighborhood kids make fun of him for his constant weeping, but he does nothing to stop the torment. In fact, he schedules the crying boy's birthday party at the pizzeria, despite the boy's obvious fears. Yes, the crying boy is mortally wounded on his birthday. Uplifting. More unsettling, before his death, the crying child spends time in a comatose dreaming state that sees him fend off monstrous versions of the animatronics he fears. This makes up the gameplay portion of FNAF 4. In Sister Location, we learned William Afton has or had surveillance of his son's sick room beamed down to a secret room in a bunker where he built and fixed his animatronics. Bad dream or psychological torture inflicted on a vulnerable child? Maybe we don't want to know. Was the crying child comatose and simply dreaming about fighting his worst nightmares, or was he semi-lucid and his father set actual animatronics after him as some kind of twisted psychological experiment? We don't know for sure, but the implications are deeply disturbing. Finally, William sent his eldest son, Michael, down to his old work bunker to free Elizabeth's soul. Remains from Circus Baby, even though William probably had a good idea that his son would get wrecked by vicious animatronics or vengeful spirits. Michael's act of freeing Elizabeth's soul is what makes up the events of Sister Location. Since he shows remorse for getting his brother killed by apologizing to him in the end of FNAF 4, there's a strong possibility he trusts his father just enough to earn a chance at redemption for accidentally killing his younger brother. When Michael monologues to his father, who we see for a second as Springtrap at the end of Sister Location, it's clear he's not happy about being deceived. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator concludes with William's old business partner, Henry, luring the series' haunted animatronics, the ones who didn't find peace at the end of FNAF 3, into one spot with Michael's help. Henry then sets the pizzeria aflame with himself, Michael, and William as Springtrap inside. Before they all burn up, Henry suggests his old friend might be doomed to spend eternity in the darkest pit of hell for his murders. Downloadable content for Pizzeria Simulator Ultimate Custom Night contains a hidden ending where a character who's an in-game representation of Scott Cawthon himself, a simple red spirit calling himself Old Man Consequences, informs you the demon is with his demons. In the background, we hear a eerie... Okay, let me say that again. The downloadable content for Pizzeria Simulator Ultimate Custom Night contains a hidden ending for a character who is an end-game representation of Scott Cawthon himself, a simple red spirit calling himself Old Man Consequences. He informs you the demon is with his demons. In the background, you hear an eerie chopping sound. It's actually a voice sample slowed way down. When the sample is sped up, a choppy robotized voice screams and curses the name Mike and Henry. It would indeed appear William Afton got everything he deserves. What's in the locked box? Shown at the very end of FNAF 4. Scott Cawthon knows. The good Lord knows I do not. So that was the story from FNAF 1 to 6 explained. Um, I mean, I'm not sure how else to explain. But yeah, that's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.